Music was my escape. It was something I didn't have to follow any rules. I had something to turn to. I started writing more elaborate songs. I wrote the little riff thing.
And I just went, that's a hit, sweetie.
Making my way downtown, walking fast, faces pass and I'm homebound.
How did you know? I love this song. That song changed my life forever.
This is the enchilada right here. I played it over and over and over again. Boom, #1 record. 1,000 Miles kept like a giant snowball gaining in size and scope.
Every year after that, it got bigger and bigger.
In your mind, you get exactly what you want, and it's actually not what you want. They were gonna drop me because they didn't like how the first record was sounding.
They wanted her to just sit down and be quiet and do whatever she was told.
I was so young, you're just like, you just take whatever you can get. You're like, I don't have any control over how this is going on. You don't wanna complain about such luck and such success. It does come at a price though. You know the expression, biting the hand that feeds you? I will bite it all day long. This is Sinatra, psychotic kangaroo. So I've been staying with my parents during quarantine, and it's been interesting. Mom, I can hear you. Sorry.
I just hope I don't say anything she doesn't want me to say. It's a long story of what happened. I don't even know where to begin. Here's some of her music books from her album, Be Not Nobody. And this is Vanessa when she was 16. I always knew Vanessa would have a tremendous career as an artist. That's her at 1 playing. That was Vanessa at 2 in piano class. By the time she was 7, there was piano and there was ballet class every day.
I'm from Pennsylvania, but I moved to New York City to study ballet at the School of American Ballet. I was turning 14. The School of American Ballet at the time, and this is the 90s, it was tough. There was a lot of problems with the school. Then I really started having trouble. I started to skip classes. I really didn't like a lot of the things that I saw that were going on. But I had music. I had something to turn to. In the dorm, there was an old piano. So I would go there and I started writing more elaborate songs instead of going to class. Music was my escape. It was something I didn't have to follow any rules. It was this other feeling I was getting when I would play that I didn't get when I danced anymore. This Yamaha upright was the piano in my parents' sunroom that I wrote 1,000 Miles on. So the main part of this song that I had for a long time was just this, it's really an instrumental song, you know? That was the whole thing.
It was the summer she was turning 17. I was in the kitchen and she was playing, and then she did the riff of 1,000 Miles, and I just went, that's a hit, sweetie.
The chorus, the pre-chorus, and the verse, it's all really a variation on Welcome to Our Home. The song is about a crush I had on a Juilliard student. I would never talk to this person. I was very shy. I was like, there's just no way in God's creation that this would ever happen. So the idea of like, you have a better chance of falling up than ever having a relationship with this person. I can't say the person's name because they're like a famous actor and I don't want to say.
Do they know the songs about them?
No.
I don't wanna let this go. I don't.
That is what you call magic. It's beautiful.
Thanks, Mom. I made a demo tape of the song Interlude, which is now 1,000 Miles. I got a job in a restaurant and just tried to, I guess I was just trying to get a record deal. Just thought if I have someone supporting me or a company supporting me, I'll be able to do this for a living. And then I could quit my waitressing job. I did a couple showcases for some different labels, and I ended up being signed by Jimmy Iovine with Interscope.
The first time I met Vanessa was in the offices at Interscope, A&M Records, where I worked. And then she came in and she was just full of excitement and creativity and had really strong ideas about how she saw herself as an artist.
Michelle Thomas is one of those people at the label that I just wanted to go to her office and hang out. We just connected, and she was so wonderful to me.
So for me and Vanessa, it was like we were a team. She had a vision, I wanted to support it. So even if I sat in meetings and some man said, make her boobs bigger, make her butt higher, we just kind of let them say whatever, and then Vanessa and I would go do photos.
Basically what happened was my dream came true. I got this record deal. I thought it was gonna, it's gonna be this amazing situation. And in your mind, you get exactly what you want, and it's actually not what you want. At the end of the day, I was in a really bad situation with the people that I was working with. And it was not good.
She was working with another A&R person she was having a difficult time with.
There was a lot of weirdness, a lot of possessiveness that was happening. So I told my manager at the time that I don't want to work anymore with this guy. And he said to me, if you tell Jimmy that you don't work with the A&R guy, you're gonna be dropped. I decided against my manager's advice that I would fly to LA and have a meeting with Jimmy if he would take the meeting and tell him that I don't wanna work with the A&R guy anymore.
People would be afraid to walk into Jimmy's office. Jimmy Iovine was the head of Interscope, Geffen, and A&M Records, the largest label at the time. And Vanessa didn't care. She was going to go in and she was gonna speak up for herself and she was gonna say her piece.
So Jimmy met with me and I said, I don't wanna work with this person anymore. They weren't happy with the record anyway. So I don't know what you want to do with me, but I can't move forward with this team anymore.
It would be easy to see the artist being dropped after making that move to go in and speak to the head of the company.
I know that they were, considering dropping me, but he ended up linking me with Ron.
Somewhere here we have My Homes, Christina, Don't Fall With My Heart, 1,000 Miles, there it is. Presents this certificate to Ron Fair in recognition of your nomination for Best Instrumental Arrangement Accompanying Vocalist, 1,000 Miles, Vanessa Carlton. 45th Grammys Award year 2002. So that's the one that I trashed the hotel room over because I really, really, really wanted to win. The first time I became aware of Vanessa Carlton was when Jimmy Iovine gave me this brown paper bag of demo CDs that were basically the scrap heap. These were the CDs of the artists that had been signed, had been working, but it wasn't gonna come to fruition. They were never gonna see the light of day. And he said, Ron, check these out and let me know, are we good to go with the end? In that bag was Vanessa Carlton's CD. This is the enchilada right here, the genuine enchilada. This might have been a first iteration of the record. I don't even know what it was, but it was the first thing that I heard. I'd never seen her name before. Putting the CDs in the Walkman, I went through a few of them, and then I put the one in from Vanessa Carlton, and I just played it. I came to this song, which was 7th on the CD, and it wasn't even called 1,000 Miles, it was called Interlude. It played, the famous intro, da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da, on the piano, and the demo of 1,000 Miles played. I hit replay, and I hit replay, and I hit replay, and I hit replay, and I hit replay. I called Jimmy, and I say, there's a fucking smash on this. We cannot drop this artist. There's a fucking smash. I played it for an hour and a half. So I asked if I could meet with Vanessa Carlton and discuss with her the idea of re-recording the song and not dropping her at all, but starting anew.
Ron Fair was like this over-the-top, big outfits. He was a real music lover, and he was the one that heard Interlude and said, that should be a single.
Mainly I needed Vanessa to agree, if not bless, okay, I'm gonna work with Ron and we're gonna see where this goes. In all fairness to Vanessa, I don't think she had much of a choice. I think it was our way or the highway at that time, and she was probably just excited that something good could happen.
Ron was the president of A&M at the time, and A&M was a part of, it was a group within Interscope. So he kind of worked with Vanessa to tweak the music that she'd already done, to really get a solid record together. But in that process, he called and he told me about her. He was really excited about her. He thought she was incredibly talented. He thought that she had really great songs.
Everything became about Vanessa Carlton, and we swung into action. This is the exact score that was used to copy out individual parts for the recording session for 1,000 Miles. So that's the money lick. That's da 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 da. So those are the repeat marks. And there's the wonder with the crescendo. There are two swells, piano da forte, piano da fortissimo. We set up a basic track session to articulate the composition in a way that made it have more impact and more power and make the transitions powerful and, you know, find the little gems inside the track. So let's start. We'll do a little musical analysis of this. She plays the theme in the front in free time. So first 4 bars of the first verse, no bass, just piano and drum. And then bass comes in here. Right here. Those 3 notes became this.
And I need you, and I miss you.
I want the tension to build. You're paddling out, you're waiting for the next wave, turn around, the wave is coming, catch the wave, surf in it.
If I could fall.
Boom. #1 record, right from there. Boom, it's a fucking smash, right there. When she sings that again with that string lick, that's where the money, the wallets come out right there.
Ron was like a real perfectionist. A lot of things felt like a battle.
I mean, they had their ups and downs. I think as anyone like Vanessa, who is super clear in her vision, and someone like Ron, who's had multiple successes in his career, so there was some head bumping, but I think that's kind of normal.
I remember recording the record and not wanting to go high at the end of the song. You really wanted me to sing that.
Do you think time would pass me by?
Wow, would pass me by, would pass. Half an hour of my life. She kept saying, would pass me by. No, would pass. Chorus 3, we gotta pay it off.
So for him, the perfection of the song was always the most important thing. He goes into the studio, he is editing, tweaking vocals. He's a producer, he's a music guy.
Making my way downtown, walking fast, faces pass.
There's also some kind of U2-y drones. He's got the Ringo Starr in this bar, boom, 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 and then jazz. Get your lighters out. This is the lighter section. So when the record was finished, I asked for a meeting with Jimmy, and I thought 1,000 Miles was like, this is too good to be true. It's got an orchestra on it, it's got all this beautiful harmony on it. So I played it for Jimmy expecting nothing. And he said, no, man, it's a smash. It's a smash.
The label loved it and they wanted to spend money on a video.
We decide to make a music video and hire this young, cool guy with a vision, Mark Klasfeld.
Vanessa Carlton, 1,000 Miles. Concept by Mark Klasfeld.
We were looking for a catchy idea for a video.
I think it was Ron said to me, we want her behind a piano. We want to make a piano her thing.
And he's got an idea that we could put a piano on a tracking dolly and that Vanessa Carlton would be sitting at the piano going through all the different parts of town.
Suburban streets, busy freeways, empty desert highway, a parade, and more. The possibilities for this are endless. When I first came up with the concept, I thought, I was wondering, how the hell am I gonna do this?
The idea of moving a piano throughout the streets of LA seemed a little daunting, but he figured it out. Like, we had a flatbed, literally rode through the entire city filming that song.
It was so over the top. A video like that could never be made again. That was not made on a green screen.
I think we did shut down some roads, but a lot of times we didn't. We practically drove with her with just cars, you know, around her.
I had a seatbelt on under my skirt on this piano that wasn't working. That's actually one of my most favorite memories of that time, is making that video.
She just gave this great performance. That's the heart of the video. And, you know, I guess the rest is history.
So now we have the music video, we have the song.
Being a new artist, it wasn't a guarantee of getting onto MTV and getting in rotation. There wasn't a YouTube that you can go to. There was nothing. So it was MTV or bust.
This is pre-internet, pre-TikTok, pre-Fortnite, pre-Spotify, pre. It's Model T.
Everything was at stake when we released the record. We had to make it work because I think that there was a list of people who were sitting in the corner waiting for it to not happen.
So David Saslow, who was our MTV guy, brings the video over there, adds it into heavy rotation with no radio. And the fucking thing blew up. And it became a gigantic smash on MTV, better than anything because it has the visuals.
Everybody could say, hey, did you see that video with the girl with the piano? So everybody, knew it and everybody was talking about it.
But really, the White Chicks placement is what took it over the edge.
Michelle Thomas called me and she said, the Wayans wrote this movie. They want your song to be in this scene.
They wanted a really pop song for Terry Crews. In the movie, he was riding in a car and they needed a really happy pop song for this particular scene. And that he was going to be singing it.
How did you know? I love this song. Wow. Vanessa Carlton, 1,000 Miles. That song changed my life forever. I remember being in Vancouver where we shot the movie, and all of a sudden the choreography just came. It was like, dun, 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 dun. And I was like, oh, when you see the whole violins and the whole thing, and I was like, I need you, and I miss you. And I was like, oh my God. And the best switch, and this has basically been the base of my whole career, is the surprise that comes when you find out I am the biggest fan of this song, of Vanessa Carlton. And when I go into singing it with all my heart, and let me tell you something, we did that scene in one take. It was perfect.
Once that song appeared in the movie, every top 40 radio station was playing it in heavy rotation. It put fuel to the fire that was already kind of burning underneath.
I get the call. Mom, everybody knows my name. Says, Vanessa, put on a hat and look down.
1,000 Miles kept like a giant snowball gaining in size and scope. It really did become a cultural thing.
Now, you gotta understand, White Chicks was the biggest movie that I had ever done up until that time. But slowly but surely, everything just started to change for me. People would give me my mail, like, making my way downtown. And they were like, do the song. It became such a pop culture phenomenon worldwide.
Initially, I think it was kind of cool for her to see the song in the movie, but I think after a while, because it became so associated with the film, it felt like it was taking away some of the shine from other things that she was doing. Like it became all about that one song.
I think the biggest challenge for someone in my position would be to not look at the power and success of that song, to not be like squashed by it. Oh, I mean, don't get me wrong, I hated this song. I hated this. I mean, you have to understand. I had to go through this process and figure out what, it took like over a decade for me to figure out what all that was, and then, how to continue growing as a person, as an artist. You don't want to complain about such luck and such success. It does come at a price, though. It's like your first big paper that you wrote in high school, and you're a writer. Okay, now you've written books. It's like this little essay you wrote in high school, and that's what just gets republished and republished. And it's not to say that it's not authentic expression or anything. It's like your first draft of anything you've ever written. But that's okay. The irony of the song is that there's something about it that is so unifying. Everybody likes that song, from what I can tell. I mean, I'm sure there's many people who hate that song, but in general, it is this thing, and that's what I'm most proud of.
There's not any culture anywhere that hasn't heard that song and has not had an emotional experience. And this is the point of what music does. That crosses race. That crosses gender. It crosses culture.
Ultimately, artists of any medium, yes, one part of it is absolutely trying to express something. You need to create something. But the other part of it that we all want is a connection of some sort. So yeah, that's become like just this main like source of connection for people, and it doesn't belong to me anymore, you know, and that's good.
If I could fall into the sky.
If I could just see
Tonight, it's always times
The phrase one-hit wonder is like, it was always made to be an insult. Like, you're supposed to be so insulted, but the whole point of one-hit wonder, you're wondering how you had a hit at all. No one has a hit song.
and now I wonder if I could fall.
The motivation was never like, let's have a hit single and make a ton of money. I could give a fuck. It was born out of something that we both shared, although maybe never articulated, which is love of music.
Thanks to Interlude, thanks to 1,000 Miles, didn't have to go back to my waitressing job. That was the beginning of the dream that I thought that in my head, I think in like the dorm room of my ballet school. I feel really, really grateful that I've been able to carve out the career that I want within this industry by being just fiercely independent and making my little projects and my records.
It's not that Vanessa's ever been misunderstood. It's that she didn't fit into a box that somebody wanted to draw for her.
Sinatra, no! Where is he?
He's with Dad.
I'm living with my parents now. Okay, what can I say?
It's a very healing song. That's what you're supposed to do, make the world a better place, give. And that's what she did with that song. And also she has a loft in New York City because of that song. Thank you.
The other thing is,
I'm her mother.